Day 5 of our epic Queensland Outback Adventure takes us from Longreach to Captain Starlight's lookout. We then head 90 million years in the past, up to Winton, and visit the Australian age of dinosaurs. And then it's back to Longreach for the night. So it was an early rise up at Sparrow's Fart as we had a long day ahead of us. And our first stop today is at the famous Captain Starlight's lookout. Starlight's lookout overlooks Longreach and offers great views of the surrounding area. It is located roughly 55 kilometres northwest of Longreach along the Muttaburra-Cramsey Road, and is said the lookout itself was once used by the notorious cattle thief Harry Redford. And as we leave the blacktop, it's pretty much 50 odd k's of dirt until we get to our destination. And I can tell you that this time of the morning my eyes are out on stalks just looking for any kangaroos jumping in front of me. And you also need to be aware of the frequently changing surface of the road. It goes from soft sand and bull dust in places to hard packed gravel that's like marbles, with the odd cattle grid thrown in for good measure. And every now and again, the odd causeway. And even though the road is so dusty, it gives you a good indication of oncoming traffic. And it looks like we've got some coming now. Just to keep you on your toes, you'll also find fist-sized rocks laying in the middle of the road, just to make it that bit more exciting. And just our luck, when the road's at its narrowest, we've got to pass a truck coming the other way. It's moments like these that the intercoms are earning their keep. And now that we've both safely passed, it's onwards to our destination. On these wide open plains, the wind is so strong that it's carrying away the dust, and Paul has finally got a clear view ahead of him. I reckon when they build Mars rovers and need to test them, they should bring them here. Just check out the road surface. And that bump on the horizon to my right, the Starlight's lookout. We're not far away now. and just as I round the corner, I managed to overshoot the road that I needed to take to get out there in the first place. So I let Paul know over the intercom, and he just makes the corner.
Bloody soft sand threw me off.
That loose sand makes it a bit skatey in places, but it's good fun.
Alright, if you're going to have a skate, I've got the camera on. So, you know, so don't do that.
Okay, good. No, I'll try not to. I think that road does. This is a shortcut. You took me on a shortcut.
Yeah. Probably does. It looks like that. Well, that was the road I took last time.
And amazingly, as Paul and I are talking about which road we should have taken, bending in from the right comes a mob of brumbies, and we hadn't even noticed. Brumbies are Australians' wild horses, and there's plenty of them in the outback.
That road probably comes around here.
So whether it was because we had dust in our eyes, we were too busy concentrating on where we were going, we were totally oblivious to the fact that they were even there.
Woo! Made it!
Well done, boys. Luckily the camera was there to pick it up.
Hey! Soft sand here. This is where a kangaroo is jumping across the running.
Oh, this is soft. This is soft. This is soft. Oh, this is real soft. Fucking hell. Sorry, mate.
There, yeah. That's it. Stand up. Yeah, right. Look at it. Look at it. Starlight, look out. Here we go.
Riding out here today in the middle of nowhere to view this mound of rock and sand wasn't my only intention today. It was also to get a bit of off-road riding in and a bit of training in the sand before we hit those roads out near Birdsville tomorrow. Preparation is everything.
Nice. That wasn't too bad, was it?
Henry Arthur Harry Redford was an Australian stockman, drover and cattle thief, born in 1841 and died in 1901. Although Redford himself never used and had never been associated with a moniker, Rolf Boulderwood indicated that Captain Starlight character in his 1882 novel Robbery Under Arms was a composite of several infamous people of that era, including Redford and several bushrangers, and thus he became known as Captain Starlight. In modern times, that is. In 1870, Redford was working as a stockman on the Bowen Downs station near Longreach in Queensland. Realising the remote parts of the property, which stretched from some 228 kilometres along the Thompson River, were seldom visited by station workers, he devised a plan to steal some of the station's cattle. With two associates, he built stockyards in an outlying part of the property and gradually assembled a mob of around 1,000 cattle, which he then took from the property, all without any station workers realising what was going on. Redford knew that the cattle would be recognised from their brands as being stolen if he tried to sell them in Queensland, so he headed for South Australia through the Channel Country and the Strzelecki Desert. Only 10 years earlier, explorers Burke and Wills had actually set out across that continent along the same track and died in the attempt. As a droving exercise, it was a remarkable achievement, as anyone who travelled in the present day Strzelecki track will now know. 3 months and 1,287 kilometres later, he exchanged 2 cows and a white bull for rations at Archipuna native well. They then moved the remainder of the mob via Mount Hopeless and sold them for £5,000. Workers at Bowen Downs eventually discovered the yards and the tracks heading south. A party of stockmen and Aboriginal trackers set out on the trail many weeks behind Redford. They eventually reached Archipuna, where they recognised the white bull. In 1872, Redford was apprehended in Sydney and faced trial in Roma, Queensland. However, the jury members were so impressed by the achievements that they found him not guilty, thus ending one of the most daring escapades in recent history. In 1881, several counts of horse stealing resulted in Redford being jailed for 18 months in Brisbane. In 1901, Redford set out from Brunette Downs to explore Central Australia, but in what one author would later describe as one of the great ironies of the Outback, the man who had guided so many travellers to safety drowned on the 12th of March of that year while trying to swim across Corella Creek, which had flooded due to heavy rain. Redford's most famous legacy in the Longreach district is Starlight's Lookout, also known as Cassie Knob. On this hill, which rises gently over the surrounding plains, Redford is alleged to have placed a man to keep watch while they were gathering the Bowen Downs cattle together for their epic journey. As you stand atop of Starlight's Lookout, it's not hard to imagine what sort of advantage Redford would have had. You can see for 360 degrees for miles. He would have had plenty of warning to make his getaway. An annual Harry Redford cattle drive commemorates Redford's exploits as a drover. A range of riders from city and country participate in the droving expedition, taking part for 3 days or up to 3 weeks at their choice.
go for a little cruise down that way quickly and then come back? Just a quick one? Just have a look around.
Even though I've been out here before, I've never been on the road that circumnavigates Starlight's Lookout. So we're going to check it out. And it's a good opportunity to get some more practice on sandy track.
Yeah. A little sandy here and there. Not windy here.
Nah, it's protected.
Stand around here somewhere.
Goes all the way round.
Yeah, that's going on the map.
No, I saw it.
Oh, yeah.
Comes back round. That's where those old people went. They
Oh, yeah. Oh, okay.
went round. It comes out.
Big sand here.
This is really a good opportunity for Paul to come to grips with the sand without it being over the top. Because in a couple of days' time we'll be headed out to Big Red Sand Dune.
Good training today because we're going to be riding shit like this.
Great. Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. Did I say that just a bit sarcastically? No, it's not. I didn't drop it.
Yeah. Alright. That's cool. I didn't do that last time, so that's good.
A bit of sandy here.
Yeah. Navigate. Starlight's Lookout.
There we go. Now we're back.
Done and dusted. Another one. Another box tick.
Another box tick. Right. We have done some boxes, haven't we?
Yeah. Brilliant. New little ripper. We got a shortcut? Yeah, glad we did that this morning now. I just think when it gets hotter, it's just going to be not much fun. So I'm going this way. I'll meet you there.
Okay.
So as I took the shortcut to the left, Paul took the long road to the right, and we both knew that we'd eventually meet up again.
Man, that goes,
Oh,
that's a long way around.
fucking hell.
You alright?
Yeah, another lot of deep sand that I wasn't prepared for.
This way was easy, it was like nothing.
I still didn't drop it.
Yeah, that's good. I was trying to get some footage of it come fast.
Yes, it was a long way round. I just wanted to get some more practice on this nice soft sand, you know?
Yeah. Righto.
check out how rough the road is here. That suspension is sure getting a workout. And there's plenty of dodging going on too. And Paul is looking more relaxed on the bike than ever.
Hey? Yeah. Yeah, this is what the move around before you do.
Yeah.
Really into it.
So let the bike go where it wants to go, you know?
Yeah.
The thing is, I'm just trying to concentrate on keeping my hands crossed, you know?
Yeah, try and stay loose and
Relax and let the bike do it, you know? Oh yeah. But it's yeah. I just need it to be able to move around, you know?
Yeah.
Let it do its thing. That feels a lot smoother.
Relaxation on the bike is the key when riding these roads. And grip the tank with your knees and be nice and loose on the bars. De-weight the pegs when you're going over cattle grids, using your arms and length in conjunction with the suspension. Don't be afraid to steer using the back wheel and weighting the pegs from side to side. And that front wheel, well, gyroscopic force will take care of that and keep it upright. Just relax and don't try and fight the bike.
See, she moves around a lot when you're sitting down. And it's soft up. It's like it floats, you know? I got the wobbles. Power out of it, come on. Oh, fucking hell. How I didn't lose that, I'm fucked if I know.
As Paul was busy having his moment, our intercoms had actually failed and I had no idea what was going on behind me. Here I am gesturing, but the intercoms have dropped out.
There we are. How I didn't lose that, I'm buggered if I know. Oh mate, I had the wobbles up at something chronic. Into that soft stuff and I couldn't correct it, I just kept, I was just hitting power on and yeah. Oh, Jesus. Gonna have to empty my pants out when I get to the end.
And then the realisation sets in that he just made it through unscathed, and his ability has gone up another notch.
I think that's the worst of it anyway. Or is that just wishful thinking from my part? No, this is great here. It's perfect. I ride this all day long, you know. Yeah. Oh, at least it's alright. It's the sandy patches that, you know, where you sort of get stuck like here. Yeah. So you kind of get stuck in that rut and wants to move around all over the place. Yeah, that's it. This is that bad one too, I think. Now there is one up further where it was all sand. And deep sand too.
And when your confidence is up, it's time to have a bit of fun.
Oh, sandy corner. I'm getting more comfortable with it, that's for sure. These bikes are really made for this, isn't it? Aren't they? You know? Yeah.
As we were riding these roads, I couldn't help notice the animal tracks to the left. kangaroos and emus and God knows what else, stretching 4 kilometres.
I can't begin to tell you how much I'm enjoying this, mate. Yeah. This is the kind of freedom that the big bikes give you. Can't do this on a road bike.
You said it, Paul, 100%.
There's nothing, you know, the worst part is probably what we just did around the other side of, what we said. Yeah, as long as we stay on the road, go off the road, that's a different story. Woo! Oh, really good, yep. No, really, I just, we did the old, weightless spider thing where you just went on there, take the weight off the feet, go in there. It's a bit loose on the other side anyway, and I sort of thought, you come down with the front wheel at the wrong angle or something, and then you're off in the dirt.
And we thought we'd take the opportunity to slow down and turn on Paul's rear camera for a different view.
Yep, keep going.
Gotta say it, the contrast between the sand and the sky just looks so awesome.
Now when I stack I can get a both angle. Feeling pretty confident now. Confidence that when we get to that, first stretch of just hard pack, we'll know what to expect, we'll know, that's not going to slow us down too much, And let's face it, when we get to that patch, we're probably going to be fairly tired. It'll be a long, that's the end of that day,
Well, I'm impressed with the way Paul's riding today, considering it's not long since he's had elbow replacement surgery.
Worried about it moving around. I'm enjoying it moving around.
The arms alright?
Yeah! No problem at all. I don't even feel my arms, keeping my hands really light, and not tight like I was on the way out. I was almost tiring myself out because I was gripping too hard, This is much more enjoyable where I'm, I've got really light grip. How good are we fucking getting?
Just as things were going smoothly, not far up the road, Paul's bike unearths a massive rock and fires it at my head like a cannonball. Now let's take a look at the view from my bike.
That just went straight past my head, that rock. That's
was actually more than one. You can even hear this one skip off the top of my helmet. Man, that was close.
Yeah, really. Yeah, really watch for those because
Thank God it didn't hit you. No, it was a decent size one too, so no, thank God it didn't hit you. Nothing damaged, right? Sorry, mate. I didn't mean it.
I just saw the rock go.
It's always good to be able to live and laugh about it.
Yeah.
And as we approach the sign for the T intersection, we know we're at the end of the road. And where one adventure ends, the next one begins.
Alright.
Well, Starlight, look here.
Done and dusted. Stay tuned and join us on the second part of our Day 5 adventure as we travel from Longreach on the Blacktop all the way to Winton. And there we travel 90 million years in the past and visit the Australian age of dinosaurs. So thanks again for watching, and I hope you can join us on our next moto adventure. See you on the next one.